Why is it that the name Black Swan is always attached to something scary? When I was a kid, the name Black Swan used to remind me of this psychological horror movie with Natalie Portman, and now it is related to Our Lady of the Apocalypse after she came to Earth bearing bad news with her. After all, she was a herald of a world destroyer in a way, but who exactly is she? And what did she do once she arrived at Earth 616? Well, that is what we're going to find out today, so come with us as we unlock the Library of Worlds and learn about what happened to the princess and how she ended up as Black Swan.
Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
A royal rebel's transformation into a Black Swan. It is not remotely surprising when we learn that Princess Yabat Umanturu, the third sister of the Crown Prince of the Hidden City, was always under the watchful eyes of people around her. Deep within the planet Earth 1365, shrouded by the darkness as that universe has lost all of its stars, laid the Hidden City. Darkness reigned there constantly, and the royal family did not want any harm to come to the young princess of the family. But the young princess was not going to remain within the walls all her life. No, she wanted to experience freedom. She wanted a taste of the world that lay outside the city perimeters, and her curiosity was immense. No amount of stories and fables from others satisfied it, and the young princess decided to venture out of the palace when she saw a chance. She sneaked past the palace guards and soon found herself staring at a gap in the wall that surrounded the hidden city. Peering through the gap, she knew what lay ahead of her. Wilderness. It was unknown to her, but that did not stop the princess. She may have been young, but her heart was full of bravery and her mind itching with curiosity. So without much of a thought, she sneaked through the gap in the wall and off she went, venturing into the wild. Now, if you've gone into the wilderness, you know that the biggest danger of such an exploration is neither the weather nor the terrain. It is the animals. You never know what you will come across, and neither did the princess. But as luck would have it, she had a run-in with a young wolf. The young wolf found an easy prey, and soon enough, it had her cornered. It had already sunk its teeth into her hand, and the poor princess had no one to call out to. She armed herself with a branch and tried to fend off the young wolf who was approaching her with a taste of fresh blood lingering on its tongue. But despite having such easy prey in front of it, when the pack called for the wolf, the young wolf went away. The princess lived to see another day. All actions have consequences, and that is the truth of this world as well as any other world. When the princess came home from her adventure with a bite wound in her hand, it was not hard to imagine what the consequences of her actions would be. The queen forbade her from ever leaving the palace, but what the queen did not know is that the curiosity of a child's mind is far greater than it seems on the surface. Despite the queen's words, when the princess was healed, she decided to venture out once again, and soon enough, she was at the gap in the wall once more. Someone really needs to fire the guards of this palace, because how does this kid keep sneaking out? But this time around, there was someone else waiting for her at the wall. No, it was not the queen or her guards. It was the crown prince, Dengra, which reaffirms my previous point of someone really needing to fire the guards, because now we have two kids out of the palace. The mystery of none of the guards ever being fired gets quickly solved because Dadingra does not take his sister out in the wilderness. He instead takes her somewhere else, someplace that would feed into the curiosities that Yabat could ever have. See, Dadingra had something as the crown prince that no one else had. He had the Great Key. The Great Key was the key given to their royal family by the Ivory Kings. This key allowed Dadingra to open the Library of Worlds. While I would have loved it if it was like a humongous library with a gazillion books, the Library of Worlds was something else entirely. It was a focal point from which anyone could access several multiverses. That's right, the Library of Worlds was like the nexus of all realities. Dadingra told her of the great ladies who navigated the library with ease, and in the hopes of meeting them someday, he would open the Library of Worlds every day. With her curiosity piqued, Yabat joined her brother as well. Dadingra never got to see the great ladies, but Yabat sure did, specifically on the day Dadingra died. The Hidden City ended up becoming the incursion point for Earth 1365, and everyone in Yabat's family was killed by the Black Priests, the people from the other Earth. Yabat was able to escape because when she opened the Library of the Worlds, the great ladies were standing in front of her. They accepted her and trained her to become a Black Swan, serving the great destroyer Rabum Alal. Now, before I tell you more about Black Swan and her adventures, let me explain a couple of things really quickly. Number 1. Incursion. So the Ivory Kings who gave the Great Key, well, they were Beyonders, this omnipotent race of beings who were super powerful and whatnot. These people exist beyond the multiverse and hence the name Beyonders. As the multiverse does not affect them directly, they decided to do a little experiment, which was destroying the multiverse. The Beyonders created Molecule Men, who acted like living bombs, and they were in each reality destined to take the whole multiverse down one reality at a time in 25 years. Now, the Molecule Man of Earth 616 approached Victor Von Doom and asked for his help to prevent this tragedy, and the two of them set out on a time-bending journey. In this journey, the main goal that they had was to kill each Molecule Man present in the different universes, and hopefully that would prevent the destruction. But that did not work out so well. See, the Beyonders expected this, and they had created an alternate path as well. The killing of Molecule Men triggered the universe to go down this path, which resulted in the contraction of the multiverse, both in size and time. As the multiverse contracted, it would bring the universes close together, and understandably, they would collide. Now, when two universes are super close to one another, it becomes evidently clear that the impact point for all of these collisions between the universes happens to be their Earth. The period of time it takes for two Earths of two different universes to collide is known as the Incursion. This lasts for about 8 hours, and once the time is up, the Earths collide and end up destroying the two universes. Number 2, Rabum Alal. The destroyer of worlds and the one in charge of the great ladies known as the Black Swans is this man, known as Rabum Alal. When Yabat joined the Black Swans group, she knew about Rabum Alal as this man who was in charge of them, carrying out justice and as his herald. All she had to do was help him destroy the worlds as incursions took place. However, this Rabum Alal is not a mighty god. He is a mortal man who we know as Victor Von Doom. That is right. When Victor and Molecule Man of Earth 616 set out on this journey, they quickly realized that they would not be able to save the universes all by themselves. So they recruited females of different species and formed the group Black Swans to do their bidding, which was killing the Molecule Men. When Yabat and the Black Swan were interested and saw through this ruse, she decided to go on her own way. The incursion happened because of Rabum Alal, and she knew it. She lost all of her family members, everyone she knew, thanks to the incursion, and she wanted them back. She took all the necessary things she needed to regrow her family, like DNA samples and brain scans, and off she went, jumping from one universe to the next to figure out a safe place for her to have her family again. Meeting the Illuminati of Earth 616. Black Swan traveled from one universe to another as the incursions kept happening. In one such incursion between Earth 1331 and Earth 616, she met Manifold, who had the ability to travel through space and time. Using him, she traveled to Earth 616, destroying his Earth to save the universe. This was witnessed by Black Panther, who noticed her arrival. They understandably fought, and once she was in his custody, Black Panther took her to his base. And that's where we meet the Illuminati of Earth 616. We have quite the roster when it comes to this Illuminati. We have Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Beast, Namor, Black Bolt, Doctor Strange, and of course Black Panther himself. They put her in a cell which would go off at any minute if she tried to do something funky, effectively cornering her. Either Black Swan had to start talking or she would stay in the cell until her death. Black Swan was not stupid, so she started talking soon after. She explained that she wants the same things that they do, which is to live and not die. Black Panther had already informed the rest of the team about what she had done, so understandably everyone was wondering how she could destroy the Earth. This led to Black Swan explaining how the incursion started happening. She informed Reed that the best way to save the people would be to evacuate the planet and destroy it, preventing both universes from being destroyed. She let it slip that this is the 8th way of avoiding the incursions, which led Reed to think about the 7 ways that she did not mention. She pointed out that Beast from the other universes had always done this, and it would be better to just go for this method since it would mean sacrificing one Earth and saving 2 universes as opposed to trying to save one Earth and ending up losing all of it. Black Panther was obviously not super trusting of her, but when they realized that her help was the one thing they could depend on in these trying times, they decided to let her tag along. Before Black Swan could explain more about incursions, Reed realized that the other incursion that Black Swan mentioned had begun happening right now, with the impact point being Latveria. Latveria, for those who do not know, is an East European country, and the largest city in this country is called Doomstad. And as you could guess from the name, it was ruled by Victor Von Doom himself. The heroes showed up to Latveria and they showed Black Swan what they had engineered. It was an antimatter bomb, the one that could destroy the whole world, but Black Swan noticed something. The sky was blue and not red. Turns out the blue sky means that there are map makers involved. Mapmakers are scavengers who effectively use these incursions to their benefit and go from one planet to another. As the planet they have milked dry is destabilized, the Earth breaks down and saves the Earth they were colliding with. The Mapmakers hitch a ride on the debris of the dead Earth and fall onto the new Earth, starting the cycle again. It was clear to Black Swan that Earth 13761, or whatever remained of it, did not have anyone left in there, and she urged the heroes to destroy the Earth. But our heroes did not know what she was talking about. The clock showed that they had 7 hours and 18 minutes left to decide, and while they watched Victor fight off the Mapmakers, they were still not sure if they should destroy Earth 13761. So Black Swan took them to the Earth and showed them the barren land it had become. She explained that this Earth would fall apart in 1 hour of an incursion, meaning that they had roughly 15 minutes to decide whether to fire the antimatter bomb or not. Realizing the dire situation they were in, Black Panther detonated the bomb, saving his world. He did not take any pride in his actions, and we all know why. Now that the adventure was over, Black Swan was moved back into her cell. There it became clear that she had been talking telepathically with Terrax, the truly enlightened, the Herald of Galactus who was captured by the Illuminati. She formed an alliance with him, suggesting that there was something ominous that would happen soon enough. Formation of Cabal. As time went on, incursions kept changing, and the heroes of Earth 616 had to be the ones to repeatedly destroy the worlds in order to save their own. This weighed heavily on the team members of the Illuminati. The whole team pretty much decided that they would let their world die because they could no longer keep killing other people. Killing off a planet came with a fair share of blood on their hands, and none of the heroes were up for it anymore. The only person who was not opposed to this was Namor. He knew that destroying other Earths was the only way he could ensure the safety of his world, so he freed Black Swan and all the other prisoners of the Illuminati and formed a team we now know as Cabal. It was clear that this is what Black Swan was referring to when she told Terrax that he would be able to destroy the worlds again. With this team, Cabal was accepted by the United Nations, and they got to work. Whenever an incursion was about to happen, Cabal would go there, mount the other Earth, and destroy it. Now, Namor was the only one who had been the hero for most of his life. He had a conscience, and that led him to growing more and more disgusted with the behavior of his teammates. He could not help but notice how his team was more focused on going to the other Earth and slaughtering all of its denizens instead of just planting the bomb and leaving. Black Swan knew about this dilemma of his and made it a point to tease him about it, which led to Namor becoming more conscious about his team's actions. Realizing that this team was a mistake, he decided to secretly join hands with the Illuminati and kill Cabal in the next incursion. His plan was to go with Cabal on the team, plant the bomb, and set it off without telling them about it. Then he was going to use a machine to make the barrier between the two Earths completely impenetrable, preventing their return. Pretty much all of this plan was going well because this planet was infested with Sidera Madres. The Sidera Madres were like the forerunners of Mapmakers, and they were meant to be engaged in combat, buying time for their masters. Cabal went to fight with Sidera Madres while Namor did his thing. Right before he could escape, Black Bolt and Black Panther pushed Namor off of the platform, leaving him to die with the rest of Cabal, and turned the barrier on. Black Swan knew of this treachery, but this was not the time to confront Namor about it. The universe was about to be destroyed, and time was running out. That's when Black Swan noticed that this Earth was colliding with another Earth at the same time, and with no other choice, they made their way to this new Earth. This new Earth they landed on was Earth 1610, which was part of the Ultimate Universe. Black Swan decided to keep Namor's treachery a secret as they both wanted to survive, and Cabal as a whole started working on a new life raft, which would help them survive the collapse when Earth 1610 and Earth 616 would inevitably collide, which it did, by the way, and luckily the members of Cabal survived. Life in Battleworld. When Cabal woke up, they were on Battleworld. Right as everyone was about to venture, the Thor Corps showed up. Thor Corps were the police force of this patchwork planet, and a fight ensued between them. Dr. Strange, here known as Sheriff Strange, released the heroes of Earth 616 from their life rafts, and a full-on fight broke out. Rabum Alal, aka Victor Von Doom, showed up on the scene, and to save everyone, Strange dispersed everyone to different parts before facing off against Doom himself. Black Swan ended up in Doomguard, where she met Rabum Alal again and became his loyal servant. Her former teammates from Cabal joined hands with the Illuminati and avenged dangers and decided to throw off Rabum Alal. When Black Swan heard about it, she did not join them. She decided to remain loyal to Rabum Alal and went up against her colleagues. At one point, she was asked to go to the lower depth of Castle Doom to check for the source of some disturbances that were reported to her. There, she came face to face with Star-Lord and a fight ensued between them. Before she could kill him, however, Peter was able to corrupt the World Tree and turned it into Groot. This led to Groot destroying the World Castle, and it is assumed that Black Swan died here. But did she? Well, honestly, I don't think so. The cryptic powers of Marvel's Black Swan. It is clear that Black Swan is not going to die so easily. After all, she had survived so many incursions and destruction of worlds. But how did she do that? Well, her genius intellect and her telepathic abilities come in mighty handy whenever she has to fool anyone into hitching a ride from one universe into the next. Pair that up with her superhuman strength of class 25 and you have quite the beast in your hands. But that is not all that she can do. Black Swan can also fly, which makes it easier for her to cross over the barriers between the incursions and to survive explosions. She can also easily create a force field around her just like that. Her eyes, other than being really pretty, also serve two purposes. For one, they can shoot up optic blasts that are strong enough to hurt Captain Marvel. On top of that, Black Swan has a device in her eyes that predicts the incursions which are about to happen, and this definitely helped her survive for as long as she did. Marvelous verdict. Starting off as a princess who was always protected by her family to the destroyer of worlds, Black Swan's character had quite the growth. She is dangerous, ruthless, and cruel, and we love that. She is a complex character who at first seems to be heartless, but once you look at her backstory, you can almost understand why she is the way she is. This kind of complex characterization and the representation of a character's psyche is what we as fans love the most.
If you enjoyed this video, click on the like button and comment below about which other movie reviews you would want to watch. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.